From Significant, this is Crack It in an Hour.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Crack It. But this is Crack It on the Croisette. We're live at Cannes for the Cannes Lion Festival. I'm Simon.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Romain.
And today we have a wonderful guest.
Hi, I'm Gareth. Work at Coinbase.
Woo!
You're being very
It's a very
humble. Gareth is humble. Gareth won a Grand Prix
Last night.
Last night.
The team won the Grand Prix last night, but no, it's awesome.
As a member of the team.
Yeah.
Yes.
As a member of the team.
So
Massive congrats.
Yeah.
And if you guys
Thank you.
don't know the Coinbase where that won the Grand Prix, everybody should go
It's
check
great.
it out because it's absolutely amazing.
So we're doing things a little differently while we're here. We got two differences. One is we got 20 minutes instead of 1 hour to crack the problem. And we are asking all of our guests to bring the problem. I have no idea what it is. Roman has no idea what it is. Jesse has no idea what it is. Gareth, what are we talking
Can
about?
I just first two things? Sorry to interrupt. I want to give a big shout out to the guys hosting us. You see behind us, PayPal ads, absolutely amazing setup to just hosting us graciously. And the second thing, I know we have a bit of French listener base. It's not crack it on the croissant. We are on the croisette. We're on the croisette in Canada.
It sounds perfect. I was brought up in Quebecois French.
Just for the record. All right, Gareth. Sorry for nothing. The clock is starting.
Okay, so here's the problem. It's one very close to my heart. So the simple question is, how do you make financial literacy not suck?
This is
So this is a real problem at the heart of America. So about
Yeah.
3/4 of Americans fail basic financial literacy tests.
Yeah.
Yet pretty much anyone who's attempted to do kind of financial education, it's boring, it's dull, people don't pay any attention to it. So as much as the tools can improve, unless people's understanding of those tools and their basic financial life increases, they're kind of for naught.
Yep.
So how do we make it not stuck?
I love this.
Okay, it's really good, and I'll tell you something. It's one of Jesse's passion points. Like anytime we talk about different categories, like getting people educated on finance is something that you talk about a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's especially important for women. Like, I think about it all the time, and it's like, I don't feel like I know nearly as much as I should. But I think what's interesting to your point is that I think there's the early education gap, which is, let's be honest, really where we should fix this, but it's probably not going to happen.
You mean like in elementary
Yeah,
school?
this
or
should
just
be like
understanding basic dollars and
absolutely,
cents?
yes. If we had I think, I mean, especially in the U.S., if we had a functioning government, this is something that we would take care of but that's not going to happen. So we're probably not going to even bother to talk about that, even though Simon says we can play God on this podcast. But then there's the educational component from a structural, systemic perspective. But then there's also this interesting thing where people like me who know they should but still don't.
Yes.
And so there's like a really interesting inertia behavior.
And is that it's
component.
because of what you said, which is for a lot of people it's boring.
It's boring, and honestly, it's confusing. I think I'm a pretty smart person, and even when I read about it, I'm just like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
These words don't make sense to me. You used words to explain a thing with words I don't understand. So I'm going to need a dictionary to understand the dictionary to understand the dictionary.
And do you? So you were talking about. By the way, I don't think it's only in the U.S. I think anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Could
There's
benefit
some,
like the early.
if you've seen the chart, though, there's the U.S. is pretty much the worst.
Oh yeah. At literacy or at a certain age groups.
No, at like financial.
Overall,
Overall financial literacy.
Winning something.
Yeah.
Is there also a bit of a trust thing that needs to be discussed? Because like the people who are trying to do it are the people who are trying to sell you something. And do we need to try and unpack like who should be doing it so we get to a place of trust? And because anyone who's doing it today is literally trying to sell your financial product.
Yeah.
So you're like, but
Do you think there's anyone doing it well?
I think there's been signs of stuff where you see similar financial services brands provide decent digital content.
Yeah.
We're trying to build some stuff out now at Coinbase, which builds around kind of AI advice.
Yeah.
Which I think is obviously AI is going to be a great tool for this in terms of being able to personalize, be contextually relevant, all those types of things, and be at the kind of point of use. But I think to your point was a big trust question, which is do you trust the brand? Number one, to get like impartial advice. And if it's not a brand, who do you turn to?
Yeah.
And the government doesn't feel like to be the place, or the institutions got even lower trust than most companies. There's obviously signs of things around the world, like Martin Lewis in the UK. I've heard of him as pretty much like, I think, the second most trusted person in the UK giving financial advice, and is an amazing, amazing person. But one man can't do everything.
Yeah.
So it's a systemic challenge, I think, in many ways.
I agree. Yeah.
I think I think the personalization thing is interesting because, I mean, it's like the word that everybody loves to talk about, but the thing that's never fully achieved. But it is, I find it so specifically true with finance. Like I only know this to be a true stat in the US. I don't know what the global stat is, but I think the number one place that people still get financial advice in the US is from one of their parents, usually their dad.
Yeah.
And
My dad has horrible finance.
yeah. Well, and what
He said some things that like 10 years later, I was like, that was a strict. He told me once, he was like, don't return that. You're literally only going to be like charged for it it's only going to affect your credit rating for 7 years. And I was like 18 at the time. I was like, okay. And then when I was like 24 trying to rent a place, I'm like, my credit rating is still screwed by that dumb thing my dad told me not to. You know what I mean?
And did he admit it? Or is he like,
he still was like, he's full of like,
not my
saying, and it was literally, you know what it was? It was one of those TV set-top boxes. I mean, like Xfinity's set-top box. It was like $400. He was like, don't bother returning it. It was free to return. He was just like, eh.
Well, what
That's insane.
But on the trust component, I mean, A, never trust your dad, but B, I think part of what happens that speaks to personalization is like what worked 20, 30, 40 years ago for your parents is not relevant to necessarily. I think about, I live in an incredibly expensive city compared to the city my dad, and he talks to me sometimes. I mean, my dad does give incredible financial advice. So does my mom. But there are sometimes things I'm like, yeah, but like, I don't know if that makes sense for
your frame of reference is
it's different. And so, I mean, I always still do whatever he tells me, but I think it's interesting of like thinking about the personalization, but it's not even, it's not just about not just your goals, but also the context of like where you are, where you live, what year it is, what's happening in the world.
I remember working on some stuff. I must be like 15 years ago now, so it's probably woefully out of date, or maybe it just got more true than it was then. But looking at that point around, your parents being a great source of financial advice or a financial advisor, the thing that people didn't look at was kind of like friends and family or people like me. So actually people, they could go, it may be an aggregated set of anonymized data. But people at a similar age level, for example, similar income, similar risk profiles. How could you look at that kind of like more macro data and get like the wisdom of the crowd to maybe help you? And I feel, again, that's kind of one of those things which is missing a little bit, is actually how can we bring people together to actually make the system work for them versus the system kind of working for the system.
Totally.
That's interesting.
Really interesting.
Because then what you're starting to talk about is you have like, I think you two are I was just sitting here listening to your wonderful conversation, but my takeaway from a lot of it was that like before you can even have interesting advice, you need to be able to get to them in a place. Excuse me. It's like a croissant. It's like you need to meet them in a place where they're willing to listen, where they're going to trust you. It's not just like you look like someone who's trying to sell them something. And in order to do that, what if you showed up in a way where immediately you said, look, I think we understand your situation. It's somewhat like this situation. Because I think that would be a massive unlock for a lot of people, where suddenly they go, oh, you do get it. You know what I mean?
Plus, also, I think we've talked about this before, and it's funny the way that you teed up this question, because you talked about financial literacy, and the word finance to me is a terrible word. And I think I know we've talked about this before, but I think we literally talked about it yesterday maybe, but I still think the category and education likes to talk finance, but culture talks money. Like literally everything is a money. I mean, this is like even if you look at the way that, like when everybody got really, really into streetwear, that was a money conversation. People love talking up like the way people engage in luxury now. It's a money conversation. And there's money and there's finance, and money is cool and fun and interesting and cultural, and it's wrapped up in our lives. And I feel like there's still not a brand talking money. We're still talking finance. And I think you have to reframe education through the lens of what people care about and stop trying to get people. One thing that never works is telling somebody to stop doing what they're doing. And I feel like that's a lot of financial. It's like, I mean, remember the like millennials, you could all have houses if you stopped buying avocado toast, and we were like, fuck off. I think I'm just going to buy more of it. So I don't know. I don't have the perfect answer, but I feel like there's still a breakdown in how culture talks versus how brands talk.
Yeah, money matters, money's interesting, finance is boring. It's maybe why Cash App is so well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about cash and money rather than investments.
Yeah.
Saving or whatever it might be.
Well,
Which is,
also, like, I mean, like everything in at least the U.S. market right now has like all the popular stuff has adrenaline attached to it.
Yeah.
Like if someone's like Polymarket, Kalshi, I can bet they make videos that have proved to be false of people winning $100,000 and all that sort of stuff over here. And then on the other side, right now, the frame of reference is someone being like, a TFSN can earn you 4%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
That
not
sounds way more fun.
that one.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
Like I like what I'm trying to figure out is like how can you make the boring a little more exciting in a way? You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if you can.
Without maybe necessarily
Without-
going to the dopamine.
No,
like,
exactly.
things,
Yes.
Like where's that
Yeah.
now round to get the drug? I think what we should be talking about is like the younger generation
Yeah.
more interested in learning about it before you actually figure out how to teach it.
Yeah.
It's like, and money I think is a big one. Some cultures have money's taboo. You
I
don't
was
just
going to talk
you
about
just do not talk about it. So you have to start from a place of even backwards. Like I think in the US is pretty advanced. You can talk about money without it being too taboo. I'm from like just north of here and you don't talk about money. If you show wealth, it's seen as like ostentatious and you have different ways to show wealth, right? But if you show any, it's like no. You never talk about money with anyone except maybe your very, very close family and super close friends, but no one else, right? And so you start even like further. So it's like maybe it's a
you
way
have
we should
cultural
focus on the
headwind.
US. Just cultural headwind.
And I will tell you a very psychological. We're just listing problems.
I know.
We have no solutions other than like be cooler. But there's a real psychological barrier. I'm sure it has a name. I don't know it. But even we are inherently competitive as humans. And so part of everyone thinks the taboo is cultural, but I do think some of it is actually competitive. And so some of the reason people don't talk about money is because everybody wants a little bit of an edge, even around of the people they love.
So
like,
interesting.
I don't want to tell you my salary because, I don't know that we should make the same. Like there is not even. But there is a little bit of like, I read a book on a really interesting book on finance once, and it was actually more of a money book than finance. But she was talking about how all of these, it was talking about millennials buying houses and how, everyone posts that photo on Instagram in front of the house at the Keys. It's like big day, big news, whatever. Not a single one of them mentions that they got the down payment from their parents.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like, it makes everybody else feel completely like, well, how are they doing it? I'm behind. But they don't want to say it because they're like, I want people to think I'm doing really well. And so I don't know that you can break some of that inherent deep, like psychological, sociological components. And so it's why I always loved what E-Trade did back in the day because they leaned into the competitive nature of people. And I think sometimes you have to stop fighting human nature.
Yeah.
It's interesting. In America, the thing I always find is, LA, I shouldn't say America. LA, the thing I always find so jarring is a version of what you're talking about, which is the cars.
Yeah.
People will drive a lovely car, and I'm like, you can't afford that car. And you guys know the car I drive. It's a shit box for the record. But it is like, it's consistently one of those things where I'm like, oh, it's to do exactly what she said, which is like, let me try and wrap things up a little bit, which is before you can even make the conversation interesting and sexy, you need to come in at a way that makes people feel comfortable. To do so, you need to come at solving for the cultural stigma of this moment. And I actually think there's a really interesting way of meeting people there.
Yeah.
Which is like, if you said that person doesn't have as much money as you think.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your money.
Yeah.
And let me show you what they're doing. I mean, bad example, but like, even if you want to use them as an example of how not to spend your money.
Yeah.
But this is a
what I
really
mean?
fucked up idea.
interesting.
But to me, this is like a potential positive use of like meta glasses. You know, so you can just walk around the world and it's like, oh, I've found this person on LinkedIn. I found their, like, listen, they're in like a lot of debt with that crap. You're like,
Oh, so you're saying like the meta classes pick up how much on debt they are and they're looking at their bill?
yeah, I'm walking around, it's scanning you, and so you're suddenly like, oh,
Oh, dear God.
That's true.
that's pretty good, actually.
Awesome.
Maybe, I don't know. Do you want to use that?
And can I ask, and I when you said it, I was nodding like I knew who it was, but you mentioned a British person who's very well known.
Martin Lewis said I think he's, the last survey data I saw, he was the second most trusted person in Britain.
Who is he?
Behind David Attenborough. He's a money writer. He used to write, I think, for the Daily Mail originally.
Okay.
And has kind of brought this presence online and on TV where he just gives really practical money advice to people. So when it got to things like austerity in the UK, the impact of kind of like post-COVID, some of the issues around kind of like heating costs over there, he's always been a very good advocate for kind of like, one, more common sense money behavior by governments, but secondly, how do you help the average person just understand not the tricks, but just the rules of the game that you have to play within, or what the things mean, for example. He does it in a very engaging, reporter-like style.
Who's his audience? Is it older? Is it younger?
I think he spans very broadly. I think it definitely goes towards a little bit kind of like more probably Gen X, millennial, than or Gen Z. Maybe frankly even a little bit older than that. But what he's been able to do is at least start a conversation around that point about destigmatizing the whole issue. It's a bit of a safe space that's been created, and I think that's what's missing. I think in a lot of cultures is something that safe space where you can.
That's so true. It's so true. And now we're kind of seeing the opposite, because we're having the same issue with financial literacy than we have with health and the creator economy, where you have like content that's not necessarily verified or educated or informed, and then the younger generation sees that like, oh, that's great, but that person actually knows nothing. And so here's another headwind. But it's exactly what you're saying. If we could find like the Martin Lewis that is appealing to like a 20-year-old, then suddenly you have like plenty of the creator influencer economy, but they'll talk trash. Like we need to do. That's where my head went, which is like, if you come and show up as a creator, you almost signal that you don't have the credibility. Whereas if you have sorry, I'm generalizing. There is a lot of snake oil salesmen, but not signal that way. But I'm the one who said that, not necessarily, right? Some people do have it. But you are absolutely correct. But like where my head went to is like, how do you take that, but then sort of build entertainment? Like, how do you take that integrity and then build entertainment? You know what I mean? Like, I know that's probably way too cute, but it is something that like where my head goes as far as like, how can you make these people?
I know who should do it. I think we talked about this once before, but I think this is the job for comedians.
Oh, we talked about it.
Comedians are brilliant because what they do is they talk about like the 5 truths of life. It's like death, love, money, and whatever the other 2 truths of life are. Sure, exactly. But like that's why it's so and comedians who are brilliant are essentially just reflecting truth back to you, and that's why it's so funny, because you're like, oh shit, that's 100% true. And there's, to your point, there's so much that is sort of messed up about the system that's like nonsensical. It's completely like none of it makes sense. Like even if you look at the American credit system, and you're like, so you have to like go into debt to
make that.
And then they're like, but also don't pay that off, because like you're like,
keep the debt.
Wait, what? And
I got a great deal on that debt.
You got a great deal on that debt. And so I feel like I mean, I'm sure there have been bits. I haven't seen though, like I want like a comedy.
That's smart.
A festival, a comedy festival, because now you're bringing culture, entertainment, but actually the one audience that can really speak on, even just to begin the conversation.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm getting the signal where we've run out of 20 minutes.
It's incredible.
This is a great conversation. I feel weird saying this, but I got to ask, Roman, did we crack it?
You want to do a quick wrap up or not?
Do we want to? Okay, I can do a quick wrap up.
Wrap up.
So I think the wonderful conversation was that how do we make financial literacy, what was the example?
Less dull, I think it
Less
was.
dull, exactly. We had a great conversation around the fact that right now there is, let's be honest, a cultural problem, an integrity problem,
Behavioral.
interest problem, a behavioral
Psychological underlying problem.
I mean, just add all the problems, right? There is a culture of people want to always signal that they have more money than they are, which obviously gets in the way. There's a culture of people don't trust anyone, so that obviously gets in the way. There's all these kind of things. We talked about comedians. We talked about comedians at the very end, which was a very interesting place to take it. That's just how you do this in a way that makes people feel excited. You mentioned something, and I'm forgetting it now, which was the
Competitive nature.
the competitive nature of people as well.
Yeah. Embrace it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we've really had a pretty wide conversation
For
about
20 minutes.
20 minutes about financial literacy and the possibilities. I'm excited about what we can do with this. But Roman, did we crack it?
Look, 20 minutes. 20 minutes to crack one of the most important issues of modern society, I think, would be,
Yeah.
like, I would say no, but I'm impressed with how far we've gone in 20 minutes. I think we set the stage for like a much broader conversation with potential solutions. Jesse, what do you think?
I thought the meta glasses idea was a pretty good one.
You found the use case fun.
Exactly.
Gareth, did we crack it?
I think it was progress, which is all it can
I
ask for.
think that-
This is like a systemic issue, so it'd be unrealistic to crack it in 20 minutes. But I think there's been some really interesting conversations, some seeds in places where you may want to go and explore. And that's it at the end of the day, is try and get some breadth and range to raise cracking this, because just doing the same thing over and over again, as Einstein said, is the definition of insanity.
Amen.
I'm just piggybacking on what he said.
Yeah.
We were on. That was awesome. Gareth, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Gareth.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening and watching.
Thanks for listening, Gareth. Congrats again on the
Thank you so much.
You,
Thank you, everyone.
the Coinbase team and the Isle of Any team.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you.
Thanks,
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Crack It in an Hour. If you like the show, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. If you have questions, thoughts, or feedback, shoot us an email at hello@crackitpodcast.com or on Instagram @crackitpodcast. Music done by Michael Anastasi, cover art shot by Mick Mint, and all things audio and video taken care of by Nathan Nash. See you next time.